Kamen Rider Zeztz and Gavv, Halloween Dream Team Up, featuring
仮面の英雄、バットマン。
The story starts at his bedroom home on October 30th, where Baku Yorazu is dressing up as his favorite spy, James Bond, but his sister Minami tells him that he's not a kid anymore. But Baku, acting like that spy, says you're never too old to wear costumes for Halloween. Although sighed by this, Minami tells Baku that she will be at a daycare to look after the children to go trick-or-treating tomorrow. Meanwhile at Hippopair, Shoma and Sukue are putting up decorations for Halloween while getting everything to bring to the daycare tomorrow as they get help from the Gotchitsos and Masaru Inoue who brought in treats that he and his sister, also Shoma's mother, Eiyu have when they were younger before her disappearance, doing this so that Eiyu can be part of this celebration even if she's gone. Agreeing on this, Shoma and Sukue secretly also brought in treats that Dent and Reika love to honor their memories and to be part of this celebration as well, to be like Japan's version of the Day of the Dead. Meanwhile at a daycare center, Minami is looking after the children with her friend, until she sees a young boy who is sad, as that kid named Harou explains that his mother will not let him go trick-or-treating because she's worrying that something bad might happen to him of what she saw on the news. Even though it might be serious, Minami happily tells him that she might be worrying herself too hard and that no one's going to happen to him, saying she has those nightmares to herself and that Harou would never know. Meanwhile in the streets, Hando is walking around seeing Halloween decorations now that the Granuts won't attack this day anymore, until he gets bumped into Tetsuya and Nasuke of the Public Security Bureau, who the former is dressing up as his favorite detective superhero, Batman, as Nasuke apologizes and tells Hando that Tetsuya's becoming more like a kid, which chuckles Hando, who says that everyone of all ages can be like that to have fun. Nasuke then whispers to Hando's ear that she hopes the black cases doesn't happen on Halloween, explaining to him about the nightmares that Tetsuya's on about, which Hando whispers back that will never happen, and if he have lucid dreaming he would defeat this so-called nightmare to save Halloween. Later that night, Harou can hear his mother suffering from a nightmare, hearing her yelling, "Don't turn my son into a little object." And, why does this kidnapping continue? Why? The next day on October 31st, Shoma and Sukue are bringing snacks to the daycare before trick-or-treating until they stumble upon a human press on the sidewalk. Hando arrives to see this, and disbelieves that the Granuts did this because the door space got destroyed while others turned over a new leaf, who also brought Tetsuya, still in his Batman costume, and Nasuke to investigate, as the former, who sees the press believing to be from a dream, happily tells them to not worry and that they have Baku on their side to solve this case, explaining his adventures as an invincible agent, which makes Shoma and his friends don't get it if he's imagining that character. Just then, Baku arrives to give Tetsuya and Nasuke the information, which is the human presses he had on his Zeztz camera while dealing with the nightmare in the dream, as Tetsuya congratulates Baku by calling him my boy. Shoma recognizes Baku's face, who gave him the Zeztz Gotchard before he got sent away by a UFO, as Baku also recognizes Shoma's face back then. Shoma and his friends are shocked to find out that Baku is that invincible agent Tetsuya talked about for real. Baku reveals that one of the mine doors opened when the nightmare killed Harou from the daycare that his sister works at, and that his mother is the dreamer, who she and Baku are told by that nightmare that it's just the first part of what will really happen to Harou. Taking Shoma and Hando for a second while Sukue continues taking treats to the daycare, Baku takes the two to his bedroom and enters his closet to visit the Zeztz room, where the three are greeted by Zero of Code, who tells them about the nightmare that turns people into human presses similar to how Granuts do, and that he knew this when Shoma and Hando battle those monsters as Kamen Riders Gavv and Valen, which shocks the two. Zero knows who they are. The robot commander explains that he knows about the Kamen Riders from the past 55 years, the characters and the battles from his computer, and he is glad for Baku and Shoma to meet again to combat this threat on Halloween. Understanding this situation, Shoma and Hando will help Baku save Halloween and the people's joy so that the mother's nightmare will not come to reality. Baku then gets a phone call from his sister that she's taking the kids trick-or-treating tonight, telling him to not come in his James Bond cosplay that would make him weird from the kids and also embarrass Minami herself. After Baku comically says he won't and ends the call, he seriously tells the two that tonight is where the nightmare will attack again. Meanwhile at the daycare, Sukue brings in the treats for the children to take before the big night, meeting with Minami, who sees that Haru's not here today and that his mother is taking this nightmare too seriously. But Sukue encourages her that everything's going to be alright because they have heroes on their side born from dreams to save the day. At her home that evening, the mother is taking a nap, meaning that the nightmare will strike again, prompting Baku, Chuma, and Hanto to go to sleep and get prepared for this mission to save Halloween. Even the part where Chuma and Hanto understood both English and French from zero. Not only that, as Chuma wishes Rekia were here, the latter, who stays in the Grand Nude world after destroying the door space, has appeared in his dream after he took a nap, and was told about what's going on from Chuma and Hanto, deciding to help the three on this mission. Entering the dream of the city, Baku tells the three to go after the nightmare while he tries to find the mother's mind doors, but Chuma decides to tag with him. Hanto and Reika found and confront the nightmare, who reveals that he's the creation of the fallen Granuts who carry out the Stomach Company's goal of turning humans into presses to make dark snacks, as he takes on this legacy by turning Haru into a human press that will also affect the real world, and that his mother's mind door is guarded by lots of agents he summoned to prevent Baku from looking at the keyhole. Baku and Chuma arrive at the daycare, which is indeed guarded by agents, making it impossible to get through all of them, until the two notice hundreds of Gotchitsos behind to help them get inside, giving the two an idea. The little creatures distracted the agents, allowing the two to enter and deal with the remaining agents, entering a secret basement of the daycare where the mind doors are at. The first one open, as Baku and Chuma peek at the second door's keyhole one at a time, finding out Granute Nightmare's last plan as they head back outside where they defeat the last remaining agents thanks to the Gotchitso's help, who didn't die because they're in a dream. The nightmare has sent out the Granute monsters to deal with the two Zeztz riders to not intervene with his plan as he heads to where the daycare children and Haru, looking after by Namu, are going trick-or-treating by tonight. The nightmare disguised as a human approaches the kids to give them special treats while giving Haru a surprise by closing his eyes, as the nightmare reveals his Gavv to turn him into a human press while the other kids both don't react and care of what's happening, much to Namu's shock. However, the nightmare was prevented by Baku and Chuma alongside with the Zeztz riders who got helped by those two main riders and the Gotchitsos defeating the summoning Granutes. The four riders won't let the nightmare bring the mother's dream to reality, as this would result in ruining Halloween and getting rid of its happiness. They then transform into Kamen Riders Zeztz, Gavv, Valen, and Vran to attack the monster away from Haru, who Namu takes him to safety. Getting taken to the forest, the nightmare summons Chuma's older siblings, Longo, Glotta, Nyelv, Shiita and Jeeb, to attack the riders. However, still in a dream, Gavv wishes for his siblings to fight alongside the riders, causing his siblings to turn their back on the nightmare and help the riders defeat the remaining agents and Granutes he summoned. However, the nine got attacked by a mysterious orange-silver rider who helped the nightmare go back to turn Haru into human press, which he does so. As the mysterious rider defeats Chuma's siblings who disintegrate, a mysterious gray-suited black cape hero arrives to deal with that rider while the four go after the nightmare, making Zeztz to wonder if Tetsuya is dreaming of becoming that hero, but wrong after the hero's voice to be different and young. Letting Zeztz and Gavv go after the nightmare, Valen and Vran helped the Bat Hero defeat that rider. Zeztz and Gavv confront Granute Nightmare, who attempts to turn Haru into human press in front of Namu and the mother's eyes at their home, as the two riders won't forgive him for causing the mother to suffer from this nightmare, and that heroes will always be there to protect the innocents young and old from dangerous threats so everyone can continue being happy and always love each other from the bottom of their hearts. Meaning it's going to be okay when having family and friends by their side to continue on with their lives, giving the mother confidence and realization, and apologizes to his son about her suffering and preventing him to go trick-or-treating, as both she and her son hug it out, much to Namu's happiness. After that, the nightmare brings out other Granute monsters to kill the family, but was prevented by Zeztz and Gavv, who let the two get inside their house for safety. Thanking the two riders, who they use their respective powers of impact and overmode to punch the nightmare, swat him away from the city. That leads him to be back at the forest where Valen, Vram, getting into their final forms Frap Custom and Dala mode respectively, and the Bat Hero have defeated the unknown rider who escapes. Zeztz and Gavv, now in his master mode, and those two get supported by Nemu, who cheers to save Halloween, reunite with the three. The nightmare cannot be defeated, and that he will bring a horrible nightmare of turning everyone into human presses, bringing out the Dark Riders, Dread, Dark Eva, Dark Ghost, Evil, and Gem Dangerous Zombie from his dream to defeat the four. However, they're saved by the Halloween Riders summoned by Gavv's dream, Skull, Kiva, Ghost, Kivala, and Punk Jack, who aid the five to take out those Dark Halloween Riders and the Nightmare for good, who the latter brings out the last remaining Granoots to destroy those 10. During the battle, the Bat Hero, now called Batman, dreams of getting a powerful weapon, creating the Bat Sword called the Batican, much to his surprise, as he pulls it out from his bat buckle and raises it in the air by shouting, "Bat Rise!" transforming his suit into black and yellow, becoming Batman Knight to defeat the monsters. While the other riders deal with those villains, Zeztz and Gavv battle Granoot Nightmare one last time, as Zeztz brings out the special capsum that he got from the capsum droppers. However, the Gotchitsos went inside the capsum to be known as the Gotchitso capsum, much to Gavv's amazement on this, as he too will use the Zeztz Gotchitso to give him a power-up as well. Using those devices allows Zeztz to use the power of Gotchitsos, while Gavv using the power of Zeztz's dream powers, combining their efforts to weaken Granoot Nightmare, who then gets destroyed by those two's swapping Power Rider kicks, turning the monster into a purple butterfly, meaning the mother's nightmare is over. After the transforming, Baku and the Sweets Riders thanked the transformed Halloween Riders and Yokikirai, Batman, for helping them. Before being disintegrated along with those Halloween Riders, Yoki tells them to have a good Halloween from terror and dangerous races before he says that he too will have a good Halloween by visiting the orphanage. Reika then departs from the three since the four are about to wake up. Even though he's fine with not experiencing what Halloween's about, he tells Shoma and Hando that someday they, including Sakura, can see each other again in reality, as the two agree that someday will happen. After the four disappear to wake up, they're being watched by the injured mysterious rider who transforms into Nox, who says that the nightmare will continue to hunt those people in dreams that could ruin their better futures. Baku, Shoma and Hando wake up from the first former's bedroom and see it's dark outside, meaning that trick-or-treating has just started. The three walked out to see Minami, Sakura, and the daycare children going trick-or-treating, including Harou, who is now allowed to go thanks to his mom, who also appears to watch his son that everything is now okay. The three reunite with them, as Minami is glad that his brother is not cosplaying as James Bond, and after trick-or-treating they head back to the daycare to have a Halloween party, where Tatsuya and Nasuka are there, as the former congrats Baku that the black case threat on Halloween is done for, before he plays with the children, much to Nasuka's sigh over his co-worker's childish behavior, while the others laughed, continuing the party full of happiness, spookiness, and even sweets and dreams of Halloween.
仮面の英雄バットマンハロウィンスペシャル。お楽しみに。